Tell me where Malcolm is. If the Terminator can't get to Malcolm, the children will be its next target.
Awesome. Well, I'm Tessa with Screen Rant. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for hanging.
Yeah, of course. What was it like getting to play in such an iconic franchise like Terminator?
Terrifying. It's just terrible. It's just always scary. It's just always, when it's something that people care about and something that people know about, you walk in and it's not just, whatever tickles my fancy. Like you have to kind of stop and go, why do people like this? Why are we still talking about it 40 years later? Like there's something going on underneath here that makes people keep coming back to it. Why, when people say, oh, there's another Terminator coming out, do people roll their eyes? Like, why are they mad about that? So it's like, let's just be people and let's just really like look at that and go, okay, now I'm going to be the guy that goes in and tries to do something with a heartbeat here. Why do people love this? And how can I not fuck it up?
Well, you didn't. I enjoyed it. I got four episodes and I loved them. I can't wait for more because I love the horror vibe here. So can you talk about like really diving into the scariness of this world?
The first movie scared the shit out of me. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was 8 years old. I got to Arnold taking pliers and digging his eyeball out. And I was like, nope, can't do it. Gave me nightmares. And, I think if you ask anybody like, oh, what's the movie that scared the shit out of you when you were a kid? It's like, okay, it'll be The Exorcist or it'll be one of the Alien movies, Jaws. For me, it was Terminator. And so when I got the call to come play in the Terminator universe, my association with this franchise is not action. Like that's there. And I know the second one, greatest action movie of all time. Like I'm there, I'm with you. But that's separate from the primal connection that I have with it, which is this gave me nightmares. So that I had to just kind of follow that.
Yeah. I mean, it really also it feels like something that can absolutely happen. That's what makes it scary too, I feel like, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It feels realistic.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk over the last couple of years and the last year in particular about AI. And, we had the Hollywood writer's strike last year and one of the big issues was about AI. And, for me, when I started writing this 4 years ago, there were things that I was writing that felt like, this is a stretch. This feels just like a little too far into the future. Are people going to buy this or have I departed too much? And now I feel like I'm a little late. And, a year ago, we were laughing that AI couldn't figure out how many fingers that we have. And now like every Instagram post that I look at, I'm like, is this real? Like what, am I being fooled right now? Like, I feel like I'm getting catfished here. Like what's going on?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about, getting away from the Connors in this, because you're not playing with the people that everyone knows and loves. So you're telling another story, but it's still the same world. Yeah,
the movies have been on the Connors for a while, and it to me just kind of felt like it was actually less about the Connors per se and more about the fact that I had a Japanese animation studio that was doing this, and it just felt like the right thing to take full advantage of that cultural asset to go, okay, there's going to be 1,000 people in Tokyo working on this thing. And meanwhile, it's just me over here in the States writing it. And so why don't I lean into that? Well, I'm not going to put the Connors in Japan because they're on the US-Mexico border. So I think it's finally an opportunity to try something else. And the fact that it's animated too, the fact that it's an anime, it's like, I don't know that audiences would be so psyched at it's the John Connor anime. I think that there was just kind of this opportunity begging for, let's go over here. What's happening on the other side of the planet and just kind of check that out. Because for a franchise that's been around for 40 years, there were no clues about what's happening in Asia beyond the fact that, Russia is launching nukes and everybody is launching nukes. Beyond that, it's like, okay, what's happening on the ground? So it really came out of that rather than anything else.
Yeah, and I'm a big anime fan, so I was very excited to see this, and it's so perfect. It's done so well. Like I said, I saw 4 episodes, and I'm dying for more. But can you talk about working with Production IG, because it's phenomenal?
It's one of those things where when I'm writing, I have a thing in my head, and I'm going, well, if it was the thing in my head, it would be good, but like, what's going to happen? And then turn in the scripts, and then there's kind of a long time. It's like a year of not having any idea what's going on, and just kind of being like, are we doing this? Is this happen? Like what is happening over there? And then finally the first animatic comes in, and it's an animatic, so it's rough. It's very a lot of the times it's just like a circle with 2 dots and a smiley face. Like we're talking like rough animatics. And yet you hit play and it starts to move, and instantly I was like, I'm in the best hands in the world. Like these guys know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to take everything that I've done and tried to arm them with, and they're just going to pump it up to an 11. And like, they're going to make me look so fucking smart. I just need to get out of their way.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there one scene you wrote that you can talk about that you were like most excited to see come to life?
The first one, because that was the one that was just kind of like, if this isn't good, then we're off to a bad start. Like then we should stop. And that scene doesn't have any dialogue. It is just kind of a 6-minute flat out action sequence, visual storytelling, and complex things happen in there. Complex things to describe on the page of, hooking yourself into a harness and then falling off of this rafter and then swinging around in a circle and then running on the wall and then triggering a bomb and then swinging and then somebody's climbing on you. Like, these are all, you see it and you're like, yeah, it's that. But if you're reading that on the page, making sure that not just translates to the reader, but literally translates from English to then a Japanese script. And then what the fuck are they going to do with that? I hope it makes sense. And then seeing it and going, oh, not only did they get what I wrote, but they furthered it. They added on to it in ways that are so fucking marvelous. So that for me was the big relief. But I have to say, you go through, I've been working on the show for 4 years, and it was only 6 weeks ago that finally it's like all of the shots are in, the lighting is done, the voices are in, and like it really is right down to the wire of like, oh, it looks good. Like, you don't know, like just years where you're like, yeah, maybe that's gonna be good. Like, I hope so. Like, I think that's what that line means. I think we're going that way. Animation is terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Well, it came out so great. But before we go, I have to ask you, of course, about the Batman Part 2. I'm sure everyone else is asking you. Sure. How far is the script going? Like, are we close? I can't wait, personally.
It's shooting next year, gearing up. And, I will say that the bar just couldn't be higher. It's the sequel to the first one, but also, Matt's like no other, and I hope that in the 5 years now that I've been working with him as closely that I have, I've tried to absorb as much as humanly possible from him. And I'm so grateful for the time that I get to spend with him, because he is a true artist who is operating in a world where sometimes art doesn't get to flourish. And he's trying to make something that really fucking matters. And so to be able to just be on the ride and be part of that process, like, it's pretty unbelievable, pretty tremendous. But yeah, I'm psyched for the movie.
I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to see the rest of Terminator Zero. It's so good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, you got it.
Skynet will come online. In an act of self-preservation, it will enact nuclear strikes.